Hello and welcome to episode 39 of Tech A Break.
Are you okay?
Yes, I've got my own internal voice.
You have.
Just let me press another button.
Hello and welcome to episode 39.
Have you banged your head over the weekend? Are you okay?
I've had coffee.
You've had coffee.
Never ever let Andy have coffee first.
Yeah,
in the
you've got
morning.
a big flask full.
Anyway, Andrew Reid from Resilient Business Systems, and over to my front.
You definitely banged your head. Adam Walker from Hubspoke Media.
How was your weekend, buddy?
It was good. We're actually, just for context, we're recording this on a Monday, not a Friday, because I had an appointment on Friday and we couldn't do it.
Yes.
But we've got it in for Monday. So how was my weekend? My weekend was great. I went and saw the Eagles.
Ah, the Eagles.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go into Hotel California then.
No.
Supported by the Doobie Brothers.
Oh my goodness me.
Which is ridiculous. Yeah.
The Doobs.
Unbelievably awesome. So at Co-op Live Arena. The new arena that's been having all these problems. Outstanding.
Outstanding.
And then I DJ'd Saturday night.
God, full-on music weekend for you.
Yeah, 21st, and I turned that marquee into a nightclub by the end of the night.
Get in,
So yeah,
you.
we've got somebody over here.
Is it related to your music?
No, not my music, but actually, before we go to that person, how's your weekend? I forgot to ask. Sorry.
That's okay. So I think I was just explaining. Saturday morning work, Saturday morning accountants sorting out their computers. Even accountants need their computers.
Who'd have thought it?
Who'd have thought it? Back for more work,
Mm-hmm.
and then Sunday morning work, and then had my dad over for lunch, watched a movie together, and then work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I also ran a village sports day.
Wow.
There we go.
But back to your music thing.
Yeah.
Who's
the guest?
to my left? You're right. How about that?
Oh, yeah,
I
you're
got
on it
right.
today. That's taken
Monday morning.
39 episodes to get right.
Monday morning, 75 cups of coffee, and I've got it right once.
Well, rather me tell you, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Jess. I work at Hubspoke Media and
Right,
I'm
I'm
also a singer.
2 Hubspokes against 1
Yeah,
resilient.
Yes.
two
Two
Hubspokes.
versus
Ah,
one.
we.
Yeah, but Jess is here today, not as a Hubspoke person.
Is it about her singing?
Yeah, a bit better than that.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
So please,
I tried.
for the purpose of the podcast today, Jess is LXXI,
I am.
or do you say Lexi?
No, LXXI. It's
Yeah.
kind of tough.
Rolls
yeah.
off the tongue like an
Yeah.
alphabetic pronoun.
Yep. So the first thing you can do is search LXXI
On
on
Spotify.
Spotify. So we're getting that in now. But Jess started working at Hubspoke back in July last year with
Yeah.
some shadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
She
Nearly
applied.
coming up to a year as well.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Put it to a year. And probably, to be fair, Jess, at that time, Hubspoke started getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Odd that, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, sorry. I said that out loud. Oops. In the
So
boy's
mean.
head. Stop.
So mean. But yeah, so Jess started work with us last summer. She applied for a job that didn't exist actually.
I did.
And
Yours.
we're going to come on to that. Yeah.
Slowly taking over.
We'll come on to that because that might be interesting for people listening, trying to
Yeah.
make
Yeah,
a
of
moving
course,
career.
yeah.
But the thing that stood out was on Jess's CV that she sent over, not only had she been doing social media and things elsewhere in hotel industry and this, that and the other.
Hotel California?
Not Hotel California.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you're on point now. That was earlier.
I'm just a few minutes behind. The coffee takes time.
You're up and down today with that coffee. So yeah, Jess, not only did she have some evidence or samples of work that she'd sent over to me, she also had the fact that she is how would you call it? Singer,
Songwriter, producer, drum and bass fanatic.
Gosh.
Yeah. So I was
Talk about
like,
your CV.
yeah. So I was like, I think I need to meet Jess, and that's when we got in. So yeah, Jess is very much here as LXXI today, not Hubspoke. Although we will go into how you garnered my attention to then do that, because that might be helpful for people.
Yeah.
What are you looking at here? Are you searching?
Yeah. Just the things
Yeah,
about
he's researching.
Spotify.
He's always researching. Right, okay, Jess. So give us your background. Obviously, we'll come to the big things that happened
It's
last
a white
week.
wall with some...
The coffee's hit him again. So because some big things happened last week, which were awesome. And obviously, whilst we work at HubSpot, I'm mad keen to support you in your music journey.
Yeah.
So how on earth, you've said drum and bass, how did you get to drum and bass? So where did it begin, I suppose?
I've always been into music. I grew up with a lot of music. My parents are punks, actually, which is quite cool. So I grew up with a lot of rock music, pop music, punk music, all that lot. And I just wanted to be in bands. I started off in bands, started off playing guitar. I actually did a little bit of drums for a bit as well in a band. But obviously I wanted to be front and centre singing.
Can I ask, were you self-taught in terms of drums and guitar?
Self-taught, yeah. I didn't stick with the drums for very long,
No.
so please don't ask me to drum.
No, exactly.
But yeah, self-taught guitar, self-taught piano, and I just pretty much copied other people till I learnt myself. And then when I got to uni is when I got introduced to drum and bass and started the electronic music, and then just fell in love with it and just started doing that instead. And then,
Wow.
yeah, so I've only played like a couple indie gigs in a band, and then I went solo. I just wanted to do my own stuff. Yeah.
Gosh,
I know.
so young.
Yeah. So university, that's when you actually got into drum and bass.
Yeah.
So really, in terms of drum and bass, you're quite early on anyway.
Yeah,
Like,
only like 3-4 years I've been producing drum and bass, so pretty new to it in terms of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
okay, so there's a few things we need to.
Is
unpick
drum and
there.
bass like a guitar with a drum built in?
No.
Just thought I'd clarify.
It's just drums and bass.
Yeah. Electronic music. You know, all the young
Yes.
kids are doing it nowadays, Andrew.
Yes, just like they all did when I was younger, with all of the modern romance and things like that.
I know. So yeah, okay. So you were like, I'm gonna give it a go. D&B, as it's called.
D&B,
Look down with the
yes.
kids.
Get you.
D&B. I'm gonna give it a go.
Dungeons and bacon.
No, not Dungeons and Bacon.
That would be quite good.
That's quite good. That one I like.
Thank you.
That'd be a good name for like a cafe, I think.
It would be, wouldn't it? Yeah, you can play you can play like Dungeons and Dragons, and you
And
get bacon
bacon.
sandwiches
While
Yeah.
playing,
while you're singing. in the
while
background.
playing drum and bass.
While playing drum and bass. I'm off for my new venture, Sod Rare Boots.
So obviously, when you started listening to drum and bass, was that with the people that you were with? Like, how did that come back?
Yeah, my flatmates are all very much into it, so they were just playing it all the time. I just love it, really. And then I heard a lot of, well, there wasn't a lot of actually female singers in drum and bass.
Right.
So I wanted to be that, and I wanted to produce it because there wasn't a lot of female producers out there either. So I just thought, that looks cool. I'll do that.
Yeah, and I think the key thing for me, and this has been my recent journey, some of the terminology. So, what's a producer? First of all, just if people don't know what that actually, it's what it means that the person's
Yeah.
doing. So, what are they doing?
So I don't really know how to describe it, really. Just actually producing the music, creating the music
Right.
on, say, Logic Pro, which is what I use, the software. So you produce it on the software, you put all the instruments together.
Right.
You usually have like piano, synth, drums, but you have your kick, snare, hi-hat, all different layers that you put
Right.
together, and you can add effects on them. And yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, really.
Wow.
So, I thought very relevant for
No,
Take a Break.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
I thought Producers was a comedy film.
There is a comedy film. That's a good film, that.
It's a very good film. Didn't like the remake.
No?
Stick to the original.
Stick to the original. Okay, so you go, done my indie stuff, I'm listening to drum and bass. How on earth did you then go, right, I'm going to make it? What was that journey? What kicked it off? Were you like, what software do I need? Did you have any idea? Were people doing it already around you? How was that?
Yeah, so during high school and college, my friend had Logic, and so I kind of learned from them how to do it a little bit. But then it was when I got to uni, because I did music production as a degree.
Oh, wow.
So I learned a lot of it through that, and when I expressed my interest in drum and bass, they kind of led me down that path a bit more and kind of got me in touch with different producers so I could use my vocals on there, and just learn through that way. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos in the start as
Good
well.
old YouTube. You
Yeah.
can't beat it, You cannot
No.
beat it.
It's how I
You can learn
built-
anything from YouTube.
It's how I built most of my business, to be honest. Like,
I was about to say the same thing.
yeah, it is. It's
I can do
it's
that. I don't Google, how do you
Well,
fix this?
where do you go to learn stuff like, for me, for camera
School.
gear, this, that, and the other? Well, yeah, but I didn't have time to go
Yeah.
back to school again.
No, exactly.
You could
no.
go. You could just keep going around round and round and round. There's a bit of trial and error that you got to do, isn't it? So
Oh, definitely. But I think people misunderstand YouTube at the moment. Literally, it is a wealth of information.
Yeah.
I'm constantly researching things. Like I'm saying, I'm in my programming. watching YouTube over and over, and some great people out there that just want to give.
Absolutely. So if you're getting into anything, YouTube's your friend.
YouTube,
Yeah, obviously formal education where it's required, but then YouTube can really, it's self-directed learning, isn't it?
It is, but I think for Jess it's really good because obviously you already had the basics, the understanding, but obviously, you know, you are, and that's where you were doing with your couple of weeks back with your Linux and your open source. You already knew about it through me, but you go sit on YouTube for a few hours and suddenly you're like, wow, this is great, I can do this now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you can really bring your sort of thinking to life, can't you? So what was that journey? So tech-wise, all your music's produced on a software called Logic,
Yeah.
Is it Logic Pro?
Logic Pro, yeah.
Logic Pro.
Yeah, logical.
Yep, makes sense. So that's on Mac, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. And there's other ones like Ableton.
Yeah.
What else sort of softwares are out there?
Yeah, there's Ableton, there's Pro Tools, which people use in the studios. That's what you'll see if you go to a studio, Pro Tools. A lot of people doing electronic music do use Logic, but you can start off with GarageBand, which is a free...
Yeah, it's Apple Music free thing, is it?
A free version of it, which I told you to get.
I did get it.
And I
Have
was
you
making
used it?
songs in the car on his GarageBand.
Wow, hey?
Yeah, I've had a little play with it. Again, I need to do a bit of
Yeah.
bit more
YouTube,
bit more
mate.
YouTubing.
Apparently YouTube's
Bit more
very good.
YouTubing, yeah. But it's something I've I was doing music growing up, and then I sort of
Okay, so
let it go.
interesting for me in terms of your age, but back when you were young, you know, you said your parents were punks, or what? You know,
Yeah.
were they in a punk band, or they just liked punk?
Not musical at all.
Just punks.
Literally just me that's
So
musical.
where
in the
did you
family.
get your musical talent from?
Not a clue.
Both mum and dad going, me? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Literally, whenever I say that, they're like, "Oh, they got it from me. Got it from me." No, I
And yet,
didn't.
mummy and daddy cannot sing at all.
No.
No, wow, so that's good. So they were literally just punks listening into punk music.
Yeah.
But you were saying that must have heavily influenced, because punk was massive. You know, when I was young,
Yeah, it's
it
huge.
was like huge,
Yeah.
huge. Everybody was a punk. Not for everybody, I certainly wasn't a punk. You know, but then and we started going into the modern music, the electronic music. So where and how on earth did all of that congeal itself to go, I can sing and I can produce?
Well, that kind of, I just thought it was really cool how they liked this kind of underground music. I know it was really popular, but it was still like different to listen to. And they had a lot of vinyls.
Yes.
Like, a lot of vinyls. So I just saw them all the time and I thought that's really cool to be into music. And that kind of led me down the path to punk and emo stuff.
Right, yeah.
So then I was a bit of an emo growing up. So
That's
I
Rod
just,
Hull, isn't it? Oh, no, that's Rod Hull and EMU, sorry.
What sort of music were you listening to for emo?
like Paramore, My Chemical Romance.
Okay, Michelle loved My Chemical
Yeah.
Romance.
Yeah. So
Is
that
she?
Yeah, she absolutely loves it. Her favourite song is the Black something or whatever
The
it is.
Black,
Black
Parade.
Parade.
The Black Parade, yeah.
Good
It's
song.
not my type of music at all, but she absolutely loves it.
Oh.
I do like that particular song. It's
Yeah.
a really good song.
It is a good song.
But yeah, she sings at the top of her voice, and I'm like, no idea what she's
Yeah.
on about.
So then I got into another band, which is called The Pretty Reckless, which is a female-led heavy rock,
Right.
I'd say, band. But she has quite a soft voice like I do.
Right.
So I found it quite good how she has a soft voice and then compares it to a very heavy sounding
Sound backtrack,
thing,
yeah.
which is kind of what I do now in drum and bass.
Yeah, right.
I do like a very ravey, heavy, upbeat song, but use my soft vocals on it.
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm very, very lucky to hear some of your songs. Actually, quite catchy, I must admit. Very, very, very good.
I'm really liking the new one. We'll come on to those.
We'll come on to that.
Go on to that.
Quiet, that was supposed to be the big reveal.
Well, no, it's not a big reveal. It's fine.
Do you want me to do my voice change your head again?
We'll.
Okay.
I'll press the button, and then that's when you do it.
Thank you. I'm sorry, wrong. I was a little bit early.
So emo stage, sort of listening to all that. Then what's the journey? Did you then get into like electronic music, or was it straight to drum and bass? Or
Well, then it was indie music.
oh yeah,
So I've pretty much been through every music here,
yeah, the whole lot.
except country. Don't really like country, I'm not going to lie.
I love a bit of country.
Taylor's managed to do something with country, isn't it? It's now her new thing.
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah.
everybody's on the fence.
Well,
Either loving it or
Beyonce,
being
Beyonce's moved back
Yeah.
over to country. She's just turned
Absolutely.
out a country track.
Country is very, very big at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
It
isn't
is.
But drum and bass is on the rise.
It is.
So
Well, drum and bass was actually, and this is me showing my age compared to Jess over here. Drum and bass, Pendulum was what I listened to.
Right.
Australian band. And that was what? Early 2000s. sort of Eternal Millennium sort of thing, and they were producing all sorts of stuff. And
Were they?
I still listen to Pendulum now. So when Jess came in, I was actually like, I used to listen to a little bit.
I'm not sure about Pendulum. I swing backwards and forwards.
Terrible.
I knew that was coming.
Did you?
You did not.
She's heard enough of the shorts to know what you're going to say next. Okay, so you moved into drum and bass sort of stuff. You started listening, obviously, with flatmates, and was there many bars and stuff in Leeds? Because it was Leeds where you at university, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was freshers, but I had it in COVID. So my first year of uni was all in COVID.
I was going to say, damn.
Nothing was open. We had to stay inside and not go anywhere. And yeah, pretty fun for a fresher in uni.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, I remember seeing all that on the news when I was sat in the comfort of my own home, not having. What's ringing you now? Your watch?
Oh, gosh. Apparently, because I clapped my hands, my watch detected I'd fallen.
I know.
It's calling the ambulances. There we go.
Okay, anyway.
We've learned something new about your watch there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you had that in COVID, but then when things started to open up again, how many are there many bars playing drum and bass, or is it more?
Yeah, there is actually. Old Red Bus Station, they play a lot of drum and bass. Mint Warehouse, The Warehouse, just all the clubs really. Not the mainstream pubs, but clubs, but there is a lot more now than when I started, really. But even my second year was all in COVID too.
Gosh,
so it was only just opening up in my second year.
So a lot of YouTubing and just playing around
a lot
at
of
home.
online learning from our degree, for a music degree, which is all very visual, practical. So it's quite hard to learn when you're just watching on like a Zoom call, like how to do Logic and all that. But I got through it.
Yeah, got through it. Well done, you.
Yeah.
Oh, really good.
That's quite. Yeah, I didn't think. Yeah, COVID.
Yeah.
So many different stories though for COVID, and it's always interesting to hear people's different experiences.
I did get quite lucky though because I didn't do any exams.
Hang on a minute.
Every cloud.
No, but the point is on your CV, on her CV to you. I passed this exam. Yeah. She lies.
No, she has the qualification.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
And also, I listened to some of the music. I was like, well, she's clearly not lying, because if I'd lied about it and then go, here's my track, it'd
Here's
be
my
me.
singing voice.
It'd be me with like hitting a pan with a spoon, wailing in the background.
Yeah,
That's not what I got presented with. So I can safely say she can do it.
No, but that's really good. So in terms of your journey now, obviously, as I say, we know you're on Spotify, but how did you get people to know you? So, social media is still around then. So is it literally just posting stuff online?
Networking, going to raves, meeting people, and
wow. Networking raves.
Networking is raves. I said it the other week. Yeah.
Buy teams, business
We should go. Social media.
It'd be a great place, honestly. You'd get loads of work.
Never thought of that.
Never thought of that one.
All right, so LXXI came up with the name. When did you come up with that?
In my second year of uni, because I started out as Lexi Rose.
Right.
I always liked the name Lexi for some reason, and my middle name is Rose. So that's what I started off as.
Yeah.
And then in my second year of uni, one of my exams was to release a EP.
Gosh.
Yeah, you don't get written exams. It's all just write an album, write an EP.
You'd never think of that thing, do you?
No.
Yeah, literally, it's like, your social media, not write your album, sing a song. Just blown away by that.
Yeah. So my lecturer said, why don't you be LXXI? Because I wanted to be less gendered in my name, because I didn't want people to look at me and think, oh, she's a female producer.
Right.
Because then they instantly just judge you and think, I don't know. Yeah. But I wanted to be something cool, but still not female identifying.
I know what you mean.
In that sense. So
I went with that. He came up with that LXXI.
Yeah.
God, I tell you what, dyslexia. He couldn't spell LXXI.
I think the thing that stands out for me, coming up with a name, we talked about whether you're setting up a business.
Business in a box, and
it's really hard.
Oh, it is.
It is a really hard thing.
Did you know the minute that he said it, you were like, yes, that's it. That moment?
I wanted to keep the Lexi.
Yes.
So it was just a way of writing that, really, that was different.
I think it's great because when I saw it for the first, if I think back to my first impression, looking through, I'm like, well, the name definitely stands out because it's all written in capitals.
Yeah.
And say when we'll come on like social media and stuff related to the music, but when you scroll, it does stand out.
It does instantly stand out.
It's very clear.
Yeah.
I think so. You did your EP.
Yeah.
Did you release it then? Because what I want to get onto is that first bit, and then how on earth do you release music and get it on Spotify? We are obviously putting podcasts on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. That is very different to what you've got to do, and I've heard some of it in the office, obviously, from talking to you, but for the benefit of this, I pretend I haven't had that conversation.
That's a really good question, because I suppose anybody can sing or attempt to sing, but actually, is there a grade? Does Spotify go, I'm really sorry, no.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't sing no matter what you think.
Exactly. So, and I know for a fact that us putting a podcast up or releasing YouTube is so much easier in terms of hoops to jump through.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that first
journey.
EP happens.
Yeah. But
do you
before
release
that
it?
EP,
Oh,
there's
here we
a
go.
whole lot of stuff that goes before it.
Go.
So it's hard to talk about because I'm so used to it. So I don't know what people don't know really. But you can't just post on Spotify. You have to go through a distributor to post on Spotify.
Okay.
So if you wanted to post a song on Spotify, you couldn't just go Spotify.
So that's immediately different. Did you have to?
No. So we just register an account.
And then
I've said it before, we use the app called Podcasters. I happily share that with people. So you register and post it. Yeah. Set up your channel artwork and all that.
In any way, is it vetted? If we started mouthing off, not that we ever would, but do you know what I mean?
No, because, you can, obviously, think content can be reported like any other social media channel. So there's that we put on whether it's explicit, like swearing and this, that, and the other.
We would never
No, so we don't, but some clients do have expletives in their podcast, just as part, not that they're just sat there swearing at each other for an hour.
Adam, you.
Yeah. There's that, but there are obviously expletives in there. I'm not going to say them because we don't do that.
Comedy things, I can imagine.
So obviously we tick that box when there is an expletive. Right. In the episode.
Sorry, back to you then. Do you even have to get your distributors, again, does he do her job by going, you're rubbish, I'm not taking you on?
So if you're with a label, that's different because then they would just send it straight to Spotify. You don't have to do anything.
Right.
But because I'm not signed, I have to find a distribution company. So I use a company called Ditto at the moment, which is UK based. But if they're not UK based, you have to pay taxes, all that kind of stuff.
Goodness me.
And pay in American dollars and then get it, so it's not that good. You need to be in the UK really. But you upload it to the software and then they you put in all your details, they give you a code for your music, for your song. It all gets I think it's a URC code or something.
Is that very similar to your TV media brand thing?
Yeah, it'll be like a clock. Television. Yeah, we call it a clock in TV.
Yeah. Right, okay. Yeah.
So unique identifier.
See, I listen.
Yeah.
You do.
And then you upload your artwork for it, so it has to be a certain dimension, can't have much text on it. Then you upload all your lyrics, because when you're on Spotify, you can actually see all your lyrics. You can click the karaoke button. Don't know if you've done that.
No, not for your songs.
Not for yours.
You can click the karaoke button and then sing along. So
I can't hit your high notes.
That's where you add all your lyrics in, and then you have to add in your proof that you've actually wrote
goodness
the song.
me, I'm already thinking, wow, this is a lot of work.
Because if you get down the line and someone says, actually, I wrote that song, you can be like, no, I did actually. It was me, all me. So you have to add in your proof that you've wrote the song.
I'm amazed.
And then it's a month before.
A month?
Yeah, I do it a month before. You can do it 2 weeks before, but you really need to do a month before because it sends it out. It has to vet it, like you say, and then it sends it out to Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, everywhere, Deezer, TikTok, Instagram, and then it'll eventually come out. But even before that, you'll get a pre-save link for Spotify. So that means people can save your song on Spotify before it actually comes out, and you can save it to different playlists. So then once it's out, it's in your playlist.
And I just thought, upload.
Yeah, because that's how we do most digital things. Yeah. So because I just knew from using Spotify and doing the podcasting stuff, I knew that the getting a song on Spotify was a lot more difficult because I never saw a box that was like, upload your song. I'm like, in fact, I have never seen anything to do with uploading your song. And when I met Jess, I was like, how on earth do you do that? And then she took me through that, and I was like, luckily I don't have any songs. Like, that's a lot of work to do.
And you have to pay to put your...
Goodness, do we have to pay?
I pay £20 a year, and then I can release however many songs I want.
Okay, well, that's not too bad.
But with my old company that I used to use, it was $10 per single, and then it was $30 per EP.
Goodness me.
And then obviously if you're unsigned and you don't get much money from them because it's like 0.00001 per stream or something.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Spotify, there's a lot of... I'll come on to that when I talk about my experience with Mike. And
okay,
like
that sounds good.
That's awful. It really is awful in terms of that. Yeah, it's so popular.
Yeah.
That everybody does it. And yet the artists are just like, unless I get a million gazillion songs, I make nothing.
You don't make any money off Spotify. You make it off your merch, off your gigs.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So that was a distributor. Label. What is a label? First of all,
they will handle all your social media. Well, they might not actually. They'll find a distributor for you and distribute your music for you. They'll get you in touch with different artists and network a bit for you.
So they're a bit like an agent? Is that a kind of like
I think it depends what label you go for and what they want to do for you. I've got my first song signed with a label currently.
I would press the round of applause button if I could reach it. There is one over there somewhere. We'll do one. That's alarming. No, well done. That's really good.
Yeah, but I'm not actually signed. So that's the difference. It's just the song that's signed.
But you still get credit of the song because it's your song.
Yeah. Partly.
And we'll come on to that one. Yeah, this is the new one, so we'll come on to that. Okay. So you get the song with the label.
Yeah.
And the label are getting it uploaded for you, handling that. And then any other things that we're doing now? You're saying might get you into things or party? Have you had that experience yet, or is that down the line, do you think?
Not yet, no.
Okay, but it's early days. It's early days on that one. Well done.
Sorry, how early are you in your career? How long have you been doing this?
I'd say I'm quite early, to be fair, because during uni I released my EP and my debut single. I got it on the radio on BBC introducing, but then after that I took kind of a break, like a 2-year break from it, and then it's only since this year really that I've started going for it again.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I'm quite early on. Really.
You are quite early in the thing, right? Okay. But that must have been quite good as well. Your first single being picked up by the BBC. Yeah, that must have been sort of like whoop.
Well, it worked because I saw it on the CV and I was like, okay, I do. I know that the BBC just don't go, we're going to pick that record. I know that there's a bit of graft that you will have had to put in to do that. I don't know what the graft was, but I know
TikTok.
There is TikTok. See? Yeah.
TikTok.
So I know, so obviously Jess coming into Hubspoke, bring it back to that for a second. I'm seeing all of these things that she's talking about. I'm seeing that you've worked with the hotel and you're doing TikTok content and this, that and the other, doing a lot on trends, like wedding trends and things like that. Yeah. And then I see that she's got BBC introducing and this, that and the other, and I'm going, right, okay. And then I look at her social media for LXXI and I'm seeing that stuff going out and I'm seeing the music and I'm like, right, okay. So for whilst you weren't coming from necessarily a marketing role, you were doing it. You were executing. And like we say, if we come back to education and formal training, I'm like, I understand I can't see a formal marketing qualification there.
No.
But the amount of learning that she's done with LXXI and the amount of stuff you've had to do yourself, I'm like, this is actually a really good fit for you and a really good solution.
Real world type thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's all because of the amount of graft you'd had to do. Because one thing is producing the music. The next thing is getting it on a label or distributed. Yeah. Then it could just sit there. Yeah. So you go, I've got it on Spotify, sit back in my chair, hands behind my head, Wait for the phone calls. But we know that doesn't happen,
it
does it?
For a lot of people. A lot of people just sit there. With my degree, like a lot of people dropped out. I did a foundation degree, a 2-year course, and I did a top-up year.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that dropped out in my second year is just like, I was one of the only people turning up to lessons a lot of the time.
No.
I think we started off with about 20, 25, and then there's about 5 of us.
Goodness me.
And that's because of COVID, because it was learning a practical degree on a Zoom call.
Yeah, and a lot of people will have just, bless them, just not, it just wouldn't have hit them. They'll be like, no, I can't do this.
Yeah.
No, and I get that. I do understand, but lucky for you, you still had that yearning to, no, I want to do this. So you persevered. But it's obviously, hopefully paying dividends now, and you're on this track start. And again, all of this stuff that you've learned, you can't really look at that. You're just like, it's there now because I've had to do it.
Yeah.
Well, whilst you've gone and learned about music, you've come out with all this social media and sort of marketing knowledge and skills. And the fact is, you've taken a willingness to learn. Yeah. And that's whether it's on the music side or whether it's on the personal brand promote. Let's pretend the singer's a separate product. Singer promotion. Jess isn't coming into work with big sunglasses on every day going, hey, I'm LXXI, like singing away into the office. She comes in as Jess and then obviously is working on the LXXI stuff in and around. Yeah. So we're going to come on to, so that's how we get the songs out there. That's how you started promoting it.
Before you come on to the song, can I ask Jess, in terms of, obviously, the role that you've taken up in Hubspoke Media, I know Adam's here, so be careful.
Hi.
But no, what I want to know is that has working with Adam in Hubspoke Media complemented your career in terms of the music? Because obviously you must have been very good in terms of your social media. Yeah. But what has Adam and the business side of things brought to you?
Confidence, really.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
I'll take that.
You're very confident saying that.
Yeah.
So you reckon that's right? Okay.
Well, I think my very first video here was a TikTok, and that did all right.
Sorry. We'll come on to TikTok. We'll come on because something happened with Jess's TikTok last week.
He loves it.
He loves it.
But yeah, I do a lot of TikToks currently for work, and
for clients.
Doing
for
those,
clients.
Doing those has given me more confidence to do it myself, and just kind of reassured that what I'm doing is actually right, and working.
So in terms of the TikTok, in terms of, let me say, in terms of your social media for your music, that's very different from the social media for Resilient or for Adam or for all of our other lovely clients that you've got. So how has it been, that transition where you've gone, I'm musical, now this person is on the other end, like me, I'm going, this is what I do. I'm in the walls, by teams, laugh, 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 joke, joke, joke. Yeah. But how has that helped you? Have you seen a different side? Has it helped? Has it contributed?
Yeah, I have seen a different side, but a lot of the trends I've realised I can do myself in music. Like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff I can actually do myself. So like behind the scenes of a day in the studio, behind the scenes making a song. I've kind of got a lot more ideas from it because I'm kind of zooming out a bit, I guess.
Yeah, and as I said, that's the thing that I, way back, if you remember about the first couple of episodes, Adam, we touched on social media. And obviously, as we said, yes, Resilient could have done my social media, didn't have the time, trusted partner over there. Yeah. But when he sat me down and went, right, I need you to know when you are going into and putting an act, I'm like, that's boring. And he's like, no, it's what you do, it's the journey. So you must be thinking, okay, well, I can see Adam taking his clients on a journey. I now, like you say, a day in the life of my studio, a day in the life, a day in the life. All of that is gold to all of the people that must follow you. Right, so I was trying to work out whether Adam was crap or not, but he's actually worked out all right, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Smiling at camera.
Your turn to smile at the camera. Right, sorry, I just wanted
to... No,
really
you're right.
Positive.
And actually, I'm going to pick up on that because it's right. When I was looking at Jess's content, if I'm thinking back, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was very kind of, here's my song, here's my song, here's my song, here's my song. Yeah. By teams, by this, by that. Yeah, it kind of, here's my song. Mm-hmm. And you're right, I never thought of it, actually, because I've seen all the stuff that you've done lately. Now Jess has been doing some things around, you've been like lip syncing to some of your tracks, haven't you, with it playing?
Where have you been?
Well, so nobody knows me.
There we go. Hey. Yeah, so like, Jess has also brought those trends into here, saying me and Andy can do the twin "Where Have You Been." It's on the Hubspoke Media TikTok if you want to go and have a look.
Funny video.
A very silly video. But
More
there's
of them coming.
yeah, but you need a bit of humour and a bit of light.
Yeah.
So
We should try and do some on the podcast.
what's your best video on TikTok, Jess?
Oh, I've already seen this. Is hilarious.
What's your best video on TikTok, Jess?
It's Adam dancing.
I saw it. That's hilarious.
This is what happened last week. So might have to try and screen record for a real Alina.
Try that, yeah.
So Jess goes to me, can I play you the track and I film you reacting to it? We're in the office. I was like, yeah, absolutely. We can do that. So equally, I'm like, well, I've got to react. I've got to respond sensibly, not completely ridiculous, but ham it up a little bit. So
I would say completely ridiculous.
okay, but that's kind of in my nature as well at the same time. So it's a completely bit of fun content, and I'm a believer that you can't take yourself too seriously. I pride myself on the quality of work that I produce. I pride myself on looking after my clients, but equally, you can't take yourself completely too seriously all the time. There's got to be a bit of light,
Bit of humour.
bit of humour. So I was like, right, okay, and I'm just, this is my take on it. I'm like, Jess is early 20s, LXXI, fantastic kind of colour scheme, imagery. I've had the pleasure of taking some photos for you. We had great fun with that, and we'll come on to that. So like, you know, very in-brand kind of look. And then you've got Adam, not early 20s, not a producer, bald, and reacting to a D&B track, right? And I quite liked the contrast in terms of an idea, and that's nothing against bald people. I am bald, right? So no one hammer me for that, right? So what I'm saying is the contrast I thought was like a really good idea, and this is about not staying completely in your lane all the time. So Jess was like, I want to film you. I mean, I was delighted you asked me, to be honest, because you're trusting me to go out on your socials representing you. So obviously, do a bit of reaction, ham it up, and we all have a laugh in the office, and then you post it, and then, was it 24 hours later, it had 2,000 views on TikTok.
And the amount of comments that said, what a great boss, what a legend, goat boss.
Yeah, goat
and
boss.
his head is just like...
Yeah, I couldn't fit through the door, still can't.
Yeah.
Best boss ever. Like, honestly, everyone was loving it. So I've just loved that because I don't think Jess expected quite that reaction.
I mean, I knew what I was doing.
Yes, of course you did. Putting me on your
but
TikTok.
Yeah, the D&B community absolutely love him. Yeah.
I was like, brilliant, this is great. But again, coming back to, and we'll come on to the new track, Jess is promoting the new track that's come out now, hasn't it?
Coming out on Friday, actually.
Right, so coming out on Friday, but the thing is, Jess at the moment's going, watch out for my track, save the link, pre-save, was it pre-save you call it?
Yeah.
Pre-save the link, here's my track, here's my track, hey everybody, here's my
teams.
Yeah, it's how do you do that? How do you do that a bit differently to create some interest? So one post is me messing about, like drumming, and then head banging to the drop. Yeah, so that's one bit, but it got you interactions, it got you engagement, and it at no point did you go save my track. What it says is my boss reacting to my track, my new track.
Yeah. Showing my boss my track for the first time.
That was it. So at no point was it do that, but then that gets engagement. If you just compare that to Jess holding up the phone and going, so pre-save my track, it just wouldn't do the same traction. Exactly. So it's how are you delivering that message in a way that did it? But Jess came up with that concept, and I'm like, yeah, you completely got it. And I think that's probably the biggest difference in terms of that background thinking from when you started at Hubspoke to where you're doing it, because it actually makes your life so much easier, because you know that when you're writing save my track, pre-save my track, you know that that's exactly what you're doing, because you don't have any ideas on what to do.
Actually not talking about the music is the best way of marketing it.
Yeah, thank you, Jess, because I was just saying that's one of the things that I picked up from Adam when I've heard him speaking about Resilient, but also speaking about my other customers. It's literally, it's like, no, don't just sit there and go buy teams. I know we joke about it every week, but it isn't about that. It's about what you do, Andy. And, you know, one of the things that I've certainly picked up upon in terms of my social media, and I'm using it a lot. When I speak to my new clients, when I'm being introduced, and they go, "What do you do?" Oddly enough, I'm just in the walls, because that's what I do. You don't see the work that I do. Yeah. Day to day, you're using, you know, God bless you, I'll look after your IT. You're using your Windows machine or your Mac. The fact is you don't see me. The fact is I don't hear from you. And that's really good from my point of view, because it means the machine's working and running as you would expect it. Otherwise, it'd be, oh, bloody hell, this computer's not working, call Andy. So that's the bit I'm silently in the background. So I think what you're doing is you're bringing along that how do I think that outside the box, and that's what I'm trying to bring you back to. You're obviously seeing that from Adam's experience, showing his clients, your customers, how to do it, and then you're taking that on board and going, well, this is me. Don't just go, hello, buy my song, please. You're actually thinking about something, how to promote it without actually not saying that.
Yeah, and the principles are the same. So Jess does this with all of our clients.
Absolutely.
Which does it with you, for example.
I mean, look at the stuff that's come out for Resilient now, which has got nothing to do with anything. You know, when I got the new office, Jess, you know, and I was laughing with you, said, I've got the dartboard, and you went, perfect, I'll pop up. And I'm like, why? And that photograph is just me and Dan having a chill time. But again, people are going, great, that's wonderful, Andy. And I'm like,
because it's a post where you're not selling, you're just going, hey, we've got a dartboard, and everyone's like, cool, like that sounds fun. So yeah, I completely get it. So this new track is a collaboration.
It is.
Talk about your collaboree. Who's that? Collaborator? I don't know. How
collaboree.
He's my best mate. I've met him.
He's going to love this. A shout out on the podcast as well.
Wow. I'm going to shout him out.
Go on then.
Hi, Marcus Senior. Marcus is a D&B DJ. I'll let Jess go into details, but Jess was like, "Oh, we could do some photos." Paid, but you know, Marcus wanted some headshots, and Jess had said, "Oh, you should come and see Adam." He came in. We did a paid shoot. And we did that, and I'm very grateful for him to come to us. And actually, nice. I think we had a fantastic time. Yeah. He's really happy with the images. In fact, I saw one on a promo post on a he's a guest DJ, isn't he, at an event, and it was my shot being you know, they'd removed the background and stuck him on, and it looked great. We'd shone a red light on the side of his head as like part of the look. So he's using that way. So again, that's why it's so good if you're, especially an artist, getting some headshots, because we shot a load. And then you jumped in as well for some of the photos for this new track. So tell us about this sort of collaboration-y thing.
So I think we met on Instagram, just through like mutual followers. Then we got chatting, and this song that's coming out on Friday is actually 3 years in the making. It's kind of on and off that we were working on it, but I'm glad we stuck to it because it's a very, very good song. It's our best song that we've done, my best song as well. And yeah, there's some people that just get your music style, and he actually really does. And yeah, it's a proper vibe, to be honest. It's
but really 3 years in the making, though, Jess, that is just, I mean, obviously your day-to-day life with Adam, obviously you've got your own personal life, and then on top of that, 3 years in the working with this Marcus Senior guy. Goodness me.
Yeah, well, Marcus is outstanding in terms of, I've listened to some of his stuff, and when you played me the song, you're saying you think it's your best song. I think in terms of what you've produced together with this is just, it was like, it's not that the stuff wasn't good. It's like you found another gear with this track to me. And it sounds incredible. And you've been doing a lot of studio time down in Leeds.
Right. Travelling to Leeds.
Working on it, doing behind the scenes content as well.
In the studio,
Yeah. And then, so you've got the track. You've created it with Marcus Senior. He has obviously been promoting all of what he does on social media and this, that, and the other, and he's popping off in many ways. I don't know whether we talk about it here. Can we talk about it here?
Yeah.
What he's been doing. So he's been DJing some of the F1 events.
Goodness me.
Yeah, I mean, what an achievement. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he's been stood on top of this in the fan zone, isn't it? On top,
Yeah,
there's like a big podium thing, massive screen, and he's on top DJing, and he's played your track, hasn't he?
He's played our tracks, yeah.
Yeah, so your
Pretty
track's
cool.
gone out at the F1 events, which has been great. And then, yeah, I mean, to see it from a side every day, you coming in and then seeing your content coming out, I think it's been a really, really fantastic journey.
Yeah.
So what triggered this today was your interview that you had on Thursday. So take me through.
Hang on, she's already employed.
I know.
Another interview.
Not a job interview.
Oh, right, okay.
A different
Another
interview.
one.
Goodness for that. I thought we were gonna
No,
lose
you'll
Jess.
understand when she comes to it. So take me through the process on getting to that interview and then say what it was. Or say what it was and then tell me how you achieved that.
Yeah, so our song, we actually sent it off to multiple labels, and it was Riot Records that picked it up, and that's who we got signed to. So our song is coming out on a compilation album with lots of D&B artists on it. So that's part of that. And I uploaded it, well, I released 2 songs prior to that.
Yes, I've listened to both of them, yeah.
Yeah, so both of them songs I uploaded to BBC Introducing.
Yeah.
So every song that I've actually uploaded has actually gone on the radio, which is quite cool.
That's very good.
Yeah, so they both got on the radio, Fantasy and Burning Up they're called. And they listened to them, the radio people listened to them, and they said, we love them so much, we want you to come back and record a 15-minute set.
Oh my goodness
and
me.
also be interviewed on the radio.
Oh my goodness
And I
me.
was like, oh, that's so scary. But yes, I'll do that.
Wow.
So.
There's your confidence back.
So
Wow.
there's a difference to, I think this was a gear change though for you because, like you just said, they want me to record a 15-minute set.
Yeah.
So suddenly the difference is producing the music, making a song.
Yeah.
So I don't know, let's say 3 minutes, making a 3-minute song, to then they go, we want a 15-minute set. The difference is suddenly you've got to be a DJ.
Yeah.
Do you know
And
anybody
record
that's
it.
a DJ?
I'm a DJ.
Oh, I do.
DJ. Press the DJ button. Not allowed to press the DJ button around Jess. Look, she's not been to any gigs. So you had to record a 15-minute set. Now, I did bring in my decks one day to do some photographs just for my DJ side
Oh,
of
you
stuff
mean
for
like
my
just
social
some-
media.
yeah, right,
Just
just the
photographs
decks,
of the
huge
decks.
decks,
And And of course, over lunchtime, we plugged them in.
Of course you did.
And I went, go on, Jess, off you go. Jess knows her way around DJ decks like something else. So she was like on it, doing it all. It was brilliant. Good, great to see.
Why wasn't I invited to see
Yeah,
this?
well, we will
Do that
have
again.
to do it. It was
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
early on when you joined, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, I'd definitely
Yeah.
do that again.
So Jess was, I could see she was like tempted. I'm like, go on, have a go. Go on, just have a go. Just go and have a go. So we DJ. So we had that. But like, obviously DJing and using the controllers, you know, mine's quite a large RX3, loads of buttons, loads of like volume adjustments, all of this sort of stuff. And it's, I learned on YouTube how to use that. But I learned by doing. But obviously you've had to learn how to navigate that, because one thing's making a track on your laptop,
Yeah.
the next thing's playing it out on some decks. Was it you and Marcus that mixed this 15-minute
Yeah, I
thing?
got a helping hand with that. So I picked what songs I wanted to do,
Right.
and then Marcus Senior put it all together, and then I kind of did a live performance over that. So I wanted to start off with our new song, and then I wanted to do something different. So I did a drum and bass remix of Beyonce's Crazy in Love, which is quite cool.
It sounds really good.
Good.
And I
Yeah.
thought that would be really cool on the radio, because I don't think anyone's done that before. And then I did some covers of a Chasing Status song and a Hybrid Minds song, and then I finished off with some of my own songs as well.
Goodness me, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
go from producing a 3-minute, 4-minute,
yeah.
5-minute track on a laptop to you've then got to produce this to go out on BBC,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
And those 15 minutes would have seemed a lifetime.
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
like, oh my goodness me, I've got to film
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah, but what an experience that is, eh?
I
Yeah.
can imagine.
But I suppose does that prime, because you haven't done any live gigs yet, have you?
No.
No, so that primes.
Yeah, that kind of gave me the idea of what I could actually possibly do in a gig, because I wouldn't be DJing.
No.
I'd probably get singing. Marcus to DJ, and I'd be singing live. So it's kind of given me a perspective of how I would actually do that live.
Yeah. I'd be the hype man dancing on the corner.
He'd be like this in the background.
Yeah.
You'll be the MC.
Yeah, too right. I'll be the hype man.
Yes, exactly.
I need a shirt that says hype man.
Yes.
Yeah, so you'd be singing because Jess's vocals you've heard them, they're great.
Stunningly good.
So, but obviously you can't sing and DJ necessarily.
I mean, I'd love to. There's people that do.
Do they?
Yeah. So a little sound, she does that, which is quite cool. That's probably where I'd love to get to in terms of my music, being on a stage, DJing.
And
singing my own songs as a female producer, singer and DJ. That would be very, very cool.
It would be, wouldn't it? All that all-in-one type, the one person that does everything. That's really clever. Okay. A couple of questions for me about songs. So linking back, I am in a very fortunate position that I obviously do my stuff with Mike Reed from the Heritage Chart. You won't know him. You're way too young. But obviously what I've been very privileged to is when I've had discussions with Mike, he's told me about stories. So the one that sticks in my mind is that you won't know, John Denver, Mountain High Country Road, and sort of, or Sense of Feelings and stuff, the Annie song. So he did an interview with Mike, and one of the things that he said he took a lot of time out when he was doing the touring, and he used to go skiing. And literally, he said he was skiing down this mountain, his senses were overflowing, and he suddenly came to that end and went, "There's a song in there." The senses overflowing. So he wrote Annie's song just after that whole ski thing.
Right, wow.
So, he did lots and lots of things. How do you, this song 3 years in the making, what on earth triggers you to then go, hang on, I've got the inkling of a song?
You get song ideas in the most random places, to be honest. Like, I'll just be in the shower and then I'll just get a melody and I'll just think, oh, that sounds good. And then I'll have to go into my little home studio and just write it down instantly, otherwise I'll forget. Or if I'm in the car, or when I'm just about to fall asleep, I'll get an idea and then I think, oh God, I'm going to forget that in the morning. Better do a voice note.
Yeah.
I've got so many voice notes on my phone, to be honest. That is the best way to kind of get the idea down straight away. But my songwriting process, it usually starts off with some instruments.
Right.
I usually do like a 4-bar, 8-bar loop, and then I kind of play around with the melodies on top of it and then work from there. And then I'll send it to Senior, and then we'll kind of work from there. Yeah.
Goodness me, because I know that Mike, he's the same thing. He's still recording, and he's still, if you actually look on Spotify, even though, you can't find Mike Reed and that he's got, but he's actually been contributing to so many different albums, the Betumen album, things like that. And he's like that. He's like, yeah, hang on. Yeah. And he will literally just write it down. There's a small inkling. He's heard something. He's heard somebody say something. And he's like, hang on, I think there's a song in there. And it's great just to sit with chat with Mike. And, and all the ideas that are flowing out of his head, I just find it, I couldn't, I'm just like, no idea what a song is, how, why, what. So that whole process, you say, it doesn't matter what it can be. You just be through the day and suddenly like, oh, hang on. Yeah. Quickly write it down, or as you said, the voice note. I find it fascinating.
It is. I think it's brilliant, and it's completely. Well, I think it's people talk about different parts of the brain and this, that, and the other. So like you're talking about, you'll be in the shower and you have I always come up with like a solution to a business problem in the shower, but I'm not like I'll sing it. It's like
I could do the headshot for that. But
yeah, exactly. But it is. So it's funny you saying that. It's like there have been several quite significant things that I've either solved or thought about that we weren't doing. Probably this podcast studio. In fact, I think this podcast studio was a result of a shower.
I think I remember you saying.
I walked in that morning, didn't I? Going,
we're going to do a
podcast studio. And you were like, wait, what? And a week later, we were in the room opposite doing the podcast. Like, and I think it was, it's funny how, but whilst the podcast bit, we know what a podcast studio is and looks like, I had to it's about thinking outside of your general day-to-day thoughts, isn't it? In terms of, I go here, I do this, I need to think about how to fix that problem. It's about having space to be a bit creative.
No, I do get it, Adam, but oddly, if you think about my role and my job and myself, I automate things, but I'm basing the automation on something that's already there. So I'm very, not that I'm not thinking, but I'm just like, somebody's giving me the problem to work with. You came up with the, I think I'll do a podcast. You came up with the idea of a song. I have to have something to base my work upon.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go, tell you what, I'll automate the podcast. No, I can't. So you know what I'm getting at. I need something. So again, I find it fascinating that, you know, that type of...
Fire alarm test because it's a Monday morning.
Can you do a D&B to this? Adam in the house.
DJ. It always goes on slightly longer than it needs to. I forgot about
You always think, hang on a minute, is that real? You get up off your chair and then it stops.
Yeah.
I always do that.
I'm sure.
I don't.
I'm sure Dan and Ian are always down there, like going, "Should we stop it now?"
No.
Now?
A little bit longer.
Now?
How long did we get away last week?
Now?
Last week was 50 seconds.
There we go. They're like, look, I always think they're looking in the window to see if I've stood up or not.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, going back to what I was saying, I find it incredible that you've got that whole experience, that whole ability to think whatever you're doing and go, I like that. As I say, I need to have my something to base something on. You need to have your Hubspoke. You're constantly thinking outside. I don't. As I say, I need to have something to base my ideas on.
And once you get an idea, you just run with it, really. Like,
but 3 years, Jess, come on. Adam's on the other side going,
once I get into it, I'll be like 3 hours into it and I'll be just lost. Like, I'll just lose the time because I'm just that zoned into it that I just completely forget about the time.
So, may I ask, in terms of your age, obviously still very, very young, are there any artists back when you were growing up with your mum, your dad, and punk? But are there any artists today? What's the biggest influence? I know everybody asks that, but it is really interesting.
Yeah, probably Chase and Status. They're a big influence. But then people like Subfocus, Dimension, Wilkinson, all people you know. All people you know.
Obviously. No, I'm talking about real art. No, I do not mean that at all. Because obviously all of those literally pass me by, you know, in terms of what I'm doing. So all the artists, God bless you, I'm sure they're very, very good, but I've not heard
Becky
of any
Hill.
of them. Sorry?
Becky Hill.
Oh, God, I thought you said Benny Hill.
No. Becky Hill. So all of that stuff that Jess has just been talking about during the 21st party.
Yeah, you must have been introduced to a lot of that as well. Yeah.
Well, 21st, I was thinking of you on Saturday night actually when I was DJing because I was like, I want to play Mr. Brightside and Jess won't want that. It's just cliche in terms of some people, like Jess, think, no, don't do that. And you'll actually
but
probably...
It's a multi-million
but everybody
song.
loves that song.
It's multi-million song.
And everyone was singing it to the top of their lungs and it always just makes me smile inside. And I'm always tempted to video it and just send it to her.
See?
Going, ha!
Block.
Yeah. She would actually block me. But the 21st, actually, you're getting everything from, you know, ABBA, Dancing Queen, which is the big, obviously, popular. But you'll get Love Is the Drug, like all of this sort of different stuff, loads of Motown. And then on the flip side, you're getting Becky Hill, Sigala, Disclosure, all of the other people that are popping off at the moment and doing incredible things. So you can go from like completely one end to complete other. So, you know, I was getting requested for all those artists that you were on about there.
Do you still branch out though? You know, obviously you've heard of ABBA. You know, you probably wouldn't have heard of some of the other things, like, you know, God bless some of the other people that I've been mentioning, like who. But do you still get influenced by the really popular artists?
Yeah, I mean, I do listen to music other than drum and bass. Yeah. I'm still very much into indie music.
Right.
I do love soul music as well.
Yeah, that's a massive influence on.
Actually, I can safely say, because Jess is normally office DJ playing music out, all eras. Yeah. Like, I'm like, you're playing like a wedding playlist today. Yeah. Like it'd be because generally a wedding playlist is a bit of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jess plays. Her taste is really broad, so
I can imagine
all
the
I
classics.
can't pinpoint what genre I like the best. I literally like every music, and I think I have to be honest.
Well, in your case, I mean, I'm like a 70s and 80s child. That's where my music and that's what I listen to. But obviously, there are some music nowadays, and I'm like, no, it's a really good song. I really like that, you know. So jumping around, I do that, but I always tend to drift back into what I know and love.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of my memories, my 70s. You know, even my dad, God bless, he brought me up on Status Quo. You know, because that was big when he was done.
Yeah.
But he also brought me, funnily enough, in country and western. He's a very big country and western fan. So I got introduced to a lot of the country and western songs. You know, you got like, okay, fine. but there are still some classics out there that I love, you know, and my playlist is very older, but there are some songs that I know that I've heard when I've walked in. And I'm like, actually, that's got a good beat. I think anything that's got a really good beat and it makes you think, no, it's actually good.
An earworm, as they call it.
Absolutely.
You need an earworm.
Yeah. So what's the plans? I mean, obviously, hopefully in 5 months' time, right, bye, Adam, I'm a superstar now, jetting off to LA.
Hopefully.
Yes.
I want to get on the radio again.
Yeah.
I've got some more songs with Senior coming out as well. Okay. We're just finishing off some of them. So hopefully we can get that on another label, right? Because we've got a more chilled track coming out.
Very nice.
Liquid drum and bass.
Ooh, get her with the
subgenre.
Liquid,
absolutely.
Liquid,
absolutely.
Yeah, and I'd love to play some live sets. To be honest, that's probably the main goal this year.
Yeah, just to do some live sets in terms of getting out there, because again, it's not about you shouting about yourself and doing anything. You just want to get there.
I need the experience, because once I do get big, I do need to...
She'll remember us. She'll remember us.
I do need to get some practice in there, doing the live sets.
So, this is going to be an awkward question, so forgive me. Obviously, you've got a job with Adam. That's paying the bills. That's allowing you to do your work. You were saying, and obviously I speak to a lot of, I'm very privileged to speak to a lot of artists who are big on Spotify, and they're going, unless I get 10 gazillion songs played, I'll just about make £5. So how are you, is the life that you're working with Adam funding your current lifestyle in terms of your music? But obviously the goal is to try and, no disrespect to Adam, to flip that around.
There's no, I think I'm going to jump in here actually, because what I've said to Jess is I'm like all for her pursuing her dreams. And I think it's the same in business in general, like with people, and it's very easy to be protective. Jess does a fantastic job for Hubspoke, but
did you pay him to say that?
No,
she
didn't. She didn't. But I equally realise where her passion lies. I would rather play a part in Jess's journey, whatever that may be. It may well be she's still involved with Hubspoke in the future. Mm-hmm. It may well be she pops off and she's on stage. I just want her to do the best she can do and achieve whatever she can achieve. So Hubspoke definitely doesn't want to, I don't want it to stand in the way of her personal growth. What have I got to gain? Because if I did that, guess what? I've got a member of staff that doesn't want to work at the company anymore.
About to say.
Yeah. And I'm not, and this isn't just like lip service. No. I genuinely want Jess to succeed. Yeah. And the reason why you're here this morning is after your interview, you're like, whew, I found that hard, because you were in the office when you took the phone call. Mm-hmm. So for example, BBC wanted to do the interview, it was like 3:30, 4 o'clock when it happened. Yeah. Jess, bless her, was like, can I take the call? And I'm like, of course you can take the call. I'm not going to...
Docking wages for 3 o'clock.
How many minutes were you on the phone? No, it's not about that. No. It's about supporting her in this. And that's why I then said, right then, so we've been talking about you coming on the podcast, speaking, interviewing, all of this. You need to come and talk about LXXI, which is why we've very much been focused mainly on LXXI. I know I'm talking about Hubspoke here. Mm-hmm. Yes, people listening might think, well, there's a conflict there in terms of Jess wants to go off and perform on all the big stages. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Part of that.
Right? And I will fully support her in that journey. So I know you asked Jess that question, but I know what Jess wants to achieve. I think it's clear what Jess wants to achieve in terms of ambition. I want to play our part in supporting her in doing
100%, Adam. You can't do anything more in terms of that. Because I think I'm picking up on your point. If you were in any way, without coming out and saying no, but if in any way you squash some of those, any person, I don't care if it's, God bless, I don't care if it's Jess, they would instantly go, oh, right, that's a bit unfair. And you will naturally have and that reticence instantly comes in. Whereas if you're absolutely knock yourself out, that whole atmosphere, and then you work harder for people.
And then what we can do is if and when, because I like to think when it develops, we'll just need to manage that. But how we'll manage it is completely open and honestly. And we figure that out. So it's not that it's on or off, or this, it's this or that. It's how do we manage it? Because there is a way of managing it and doing it. I do multiple things.
I know you.
Yeah. No, so absolutely. I was DJing, I was running a sports day and this, that, and the other. it's how you manage those things. So
honestly,
for me, just like with Alina, with an apprenticeship coming into the media company, Alina's behind the cameras today,
doing a fine sterling job.
Absolutely. I wanted to support her in getting through there, and I wanted to support her in having a job at the end of the apprenticeship. Not thank you for your apprenticeship.
Let me pick up on that as well when you finished.
Yeah, and then with Jess coming in, it's like, great, what are you going for? Right, well, how can we do that? You're learning loads of skills. I've seen you learning. You've been working on website stuff. So you've been learning WordPress with me. Jess has just been soaking it up and working really well with the clients.
Absolutely, workhorse.
You know.
So one of the points you picked up on there, Adam, which I do want to get back on about bless Alina, who's behind the camera but still behind there. Hello, Alina, hello.
Everyone wave at the camera.
Exactly. But one of the things that I noticed the other day, remember when we did the speed podcasting, and we had the lovely Darlington College people on, Thomas and gosh, I'm really sorry, I can't remember your name, but Thomas and. But one of the things that was really nice is that without you saying anything, when you mentioned, oh look, he's Alina, and that young lady was like, yeah, I know all about you, Adam. Because of the work that you've been doing, we've been keeping an eye on Alina. So if you hadn't supported Alina, you wouldn't have got that retrospective, and everybody else was like, oh, well done, Adam, absolutely.
So again, I was taken aback by that.
You were, and which is why I wanted to mention it. But there is you giving your life and soul to both Jess and both Alina in terms of supporting them. But with Alina, God bless, it's come back tenfold in terms of the support you're getting from Darlington College and the reaction that all the other people. I did pick up on that, and I was like, that's a really nice thing. And you were literally like, oh, well, and I could see you were tiny little bit embarrassed.
Yeah, I was, because it put me on the spot a bit, and I was like, I didn't. She's like, I know Alina, and I know all about you. I was like, okay. But you've been watching Jess's TikTok.
Yeah, but I think if you say the exact same thing, if you're supporting Jess in terms of that journey, where it gets to, there's no doubt that when, as you say, it's not a case of if.
Well, it's because I'm getting backstage tickets.
No, that's what I was just about to say, backstage passes. But when Jess is big live and doing the stage, and she does go, right, Andy, by teams, and Adam, doing that thing with the chipmunks. When
I was you that.
But no, that's what I'm saying. The reciprocation is going to be wonderful. If you hadn't supported both Alina and Jess, you would.
And there's room, and we've got loads of clients. Like it was great. Jess had put out a post on LXXI about the song, and I could see that loads of people that we work with are liking it. And I'm like, brilliant,
that's
because
really good.
and we're fortunate to work with lovely clients.
So
you're one of those. No, we are, and everyone is in each other's corner.
Yeah, 100%.
We're all wanting to do well, and I think the important thing is, and you would have it with potentially collaborations, like the collaboration with Marcus is fantastic. It is incredible, but you're backing each other up. And that's what trusted partners. That's
go back
all
to that.
It is. But it's not about being threatened or trying to protect something. You can work together in business, and it doesn't have to be cutthroat.
No.
You just need to create really strong relationships, and that's whether it's with the workforce, where you've got Jess, who's got her ambitions to do this, and I'm like, how can we help? Obviously, I don't want to lose her as Hubspoke, but I don't want to hold her back.
No.
I would rather play an incredibly supportive role in helping her achieve that, which is why she's here. And you've just got to shelve the ego and do what's right at the end of the day.
No, positivity. That's really good, mate.
Plug it. Where do we find you, LXXI?
Me, I am LXXI on Instagram, LXXI.music on Spotify, on TikTok, and then on Spotify is just LXXI.
Basically, if you search LXXI, the chances are it'll come up, and that's another great reason why.
Not to the profession.
Yeah, whereas if you typed Adam in, how many Adams are you going to find? Yeah, so I think that's really good.
Top of the list now is this guy called Adam doing this video going.
LXXI.music.
Exactly.
On TikTok.
That's been really, really interesting. Thank you, Jess. Really pleased.
Yeah, thank you.
To that. I didn't realise there was so much work, God bless you, that you had to do just to get out there.
Yeah, and I don't think what Jess hasn't realised is you're going to have a load of reels that you can show on your LXXI after this. When did you join those dots?
Before this?
Yeah,
good.
See?
That's good.
I was checking. I was going to have to post clips of myself.
Yes, but when I was asking you on Thursday, You're like, oh, okay. I was like, you're forgetting that you're going to get some reels to post.
Yeah, and it all works out, as I say. That's great. Thank you, Jess. Thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Really impressive.
Now get back to work. No,
I've docked you 1 hour to be on a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Right, well, do we do the weekend? What are you doing the weekend?
It's too far away.
I don't even know what I'm DJing on Saturday somewhere. I know that.
I have no idea what I'm doing this week.
I don't even know what the date is today.
It's Monday the 10th.
Okay, I'm a week. I was a week ahead in my head. Yeah, I am still DJing on Saturday.
So I'll tell you what, I'll rephrase it. What work have you got planned this week?
Ooh. Do you know what? A lot of meetings, actually.
Apparently you've got a meeting at 10 o'clock?
10:30.
It is 10:30, isn't it? I was sat here thinking it's 10:30. When you said 10 o'clock, I was like, I've got 8 minutes. So I've got quite a lot of meetings in terms of upcoming work. We've just secured work to do a live stream day at a conference. So we're going to basically take the podcast studio out, production desk out to a conference. We're going to do a multicam live stream, streaming it out to Facebook.
Very good.
Yeah, so that's the meeting at 10:30, where I've got to go and just make sure I understand logistically what I need. I need to kind of envisage where we need cameras and microphones and power and all that sort of stuff. We've got a couple of contract meetings this week that are going. Yeah, so there's a bit of that, bit of contract meeting
Try and get
stuff this week.
For Friday.
Yeah, we need to do that.
A couple of people's already, so
yeah,
hopefully I'll
and then I've
somebody.
got shoots in. I need to get a couple of shoots in. I've got one lined up this week. I've got website work to do. I've got the other website work to do that I need to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, quite busy. Yeah, it's quite varied actually.
Oh, that's good,
so we've just taken on quite a couple of social media contracts. It's been great. So part of the thing is when you take on a new contract, you're busy onboarding.
Well, I know that.
Yeah, getting up to speed.
Yeah.
And then delivery.
Yeah.
We've managed to onboard. We're now in a delivery phase, but the problem is everything is. It's like trying to climb the mountain at the start because you need to go from having 0 to all the content and images.
But
and
if you think that's what I used to say when I'm taking on board a brand new client, I have a massive amount of work, but then when I've got them on board and steady, like yourselves, obviously all I get is like, this isn't working or can you install this? But at the moment it's like this.
Yeah, if you compared it to time, you would actually invoice the client a huge amount more in the first month to do that. I've also got another agreement sort out for the podcast studio, which is good. A potential client interested. So yeah, a lot of kind of meetings, accounts. I need to get those sorted, finished off today. Actually, I need to talk to you about that, Jess. So yeah, what about yourself?
I have got some good news. So our friend Josh from Muse, he spoke to me about cybersecurity about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and we basically came to an agreement that I said, look, if you sign up with me with a contract, blah blah blah. He agreed to that last Friday.
Brilliant.
So that's another brand new customer, even though it's like a new.
And you've had another one that I brought to you.
Mr. Shoulder, so very good. So fingers crossed on that.
Yeah, a lot of cybersecurity stuff going on at the moment. So
definitely.
We probably need to revisit cyber. We haven't done it for a while.
And as of the weekend, I got a phone call from Paul Million, our friend Paul, from the Loaf. And also his Loaf podcast. He's doing a big speech on Thursday, and I am very, very privileged to say that he's offered me a 30-minute slot.
He's offered me to come down as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But I said, don't bother bringing Adam, I'll do it.
Yeah. I had a message over the weekend that said, Andy said.
I'm very pleased with that. But I've got a lot of, I think as you say, it's not mundane work, but it's like a lot of catching up and things.
It's kind of, for detailed boxes, really kind of need to sit down and focus.
What about you? I'm in a meeting at 10:30.
Yeah. I will be hot gluing soundproof panels to the boards.
Yeah.
Can you sort out that middle droop as well? That's a hell of a droop on that one.
That's on the curtain if anyone's asking.
Adam, can you sort your droop out? No, that's on the curtain. Yeah, I've noticed that it's
we got some more soundproof panels last week because we're going to panel up because it has changed a bit.
I've actually thought it has improved. So I actually never realised that they weren't there last week, were they?
No.
I actually think.
So when we did it, we had the curtain around, and then we're trying to get things in position. It's never like bang.
It isn't, is it?
Whereas this setup, we're there now. We're then going to get that second
I do
set
need
sorted.
that. I do need me and you to sit back down. That's a little bit more relaxed.
No, we're gonna get that one sorted next. So this is why Jess has got sound panels all over the office at the moment. I bought hot glue gun sticks. Turns out there's different
wrong size.
Oh, Adam.
So Jess was trying to jam
And I
them
was
through.
there like, why not working?
Did you try banging them on Adam's head to get them in?
I didn't, but I'll do that next time.
I think new ones arrived today, or were they there Friday?
I don't know.
I can't remember. I think they're here. So so we've got all that. It's all that stuff behind the scenes that people don't see that you've got to do.
That's literally, Adam, you hit the nail on the head. That's what my week is about. It's all about that underlying thing that I just need to get back on touch, get back in contact with, and make sure. So busy week ahead, but hopefully we'll get something for Friday as well. I'll reach out to a few more people. Well,
awesome.
Thank you so much, LXXI.
LXXI.
Oh, hang on. No, I can't do that. That hurts.
But yeah, make sure you go and check out Jess's LXXI accounts on various places. If you want to have a listen to some music, please do over on Spotify.
And
pre-save the track.
Pre-save.
Friday the track comes out, is that right?
Hit pre-save. By teams.
What's the track called?
Wasted Time.
Yeah, talking of which, we have to move on now, mate.
We do?
Yeah, okay.
Enjoy your week.
Enjoy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.